Before we begin, if you are a senior or you care about a senior in your family, subscribe to BioLustra and share this video with your family and friends so more older adults can stay strong and independent. Now let me ask you something. If I told you that one of the most powerful ways to bring back leg strength, especially when you feel slow, weak, or tired more often, does not come from a gym membership or a new pill, but from something you can use in your own kitchen, what would you picture in your mind? Because the truth is that your legs can respond faster than you think when you give them the right building blocks at the right time. Research has shown that one simple food, when eaten at the right time and combined the right way, can start to wake up your muscles and your nerves in as little as 12 hours, and that is not magic. It is biology working the way it was designed to work. A very interesting finding reported in a clinical nutrition journal in 2023 showed that by the next morning, adults over the age of 50 had measurable improvements in muscle protein building and better mitochondrial activity after eating a specific nutrient-rich evening meal. And that matters because mitochondria are like tiny power stations inside your muscle cells. They help you create energy, repair damage, and recover strength. And your leg muscles depend on them more than you realize. Your legs are often the first place where you notice the change as you get older. You start holding the railing more often, stairs feel heavier, you stand up slower, your balance feels less steady, and your energy drops in a way that is hard to explain. Many people assume this is just normal aging, but here is the real issue. The biggest reason muscles shrink and weaken is not simply the number of birthdays you have had. It is what is happening inside your cells every day. Things like long-term low-level undernourishment, silent inflammation that stays turned on, and body clocks that get out of sync with sleep and meals. In other words, it is not your age on the calendar that decides your strength. It is your biology, and biology can change when you change what you eat, when you eat it, and how it supports the communication between your nerves and your muscles. In this episode, we are going to explore the science behind one easy-to-find food that can help improve leg function when you use it in a smart and strategic way, and I will explain why this is not only about looking better or moving faster, it is about something deeper: your independence, your confidence, your ability to live life without fear of falling, and your ability to keep doing simple daily tasks without feeling like everything is a struggle. When leg strength fades, everything in life starts to shift. Stairs become a bigger challenge. Getting up from a chair feels like work, walking feels less smooth, balance becomes uncertain, and the body starts to protect itself by moving less. But moving less makes the problem grow even faster. This is why it is so important to understand what is really happening under the surface, because the goal is not just to build muscle, it is to reconnect your system so your brain and your muscles can work together again the way they should. For a long time, people thought muscle loss with age was mainly about atrophy, meaning the muscle fibers shrinking because of inactivity or lower hormones. But today, neuroscience is showing a more hopeful picture, one that gives you something you can actually act on. Researchers are learning that many older adults have not completely lost their muscle. Instead, a large part of it has become less connected and less activated, almost like it is present but not fully switched on. Here is what that means. In simple terms, your muscles move when they receive strong, clear signals from motor neurons. Those are the nerve cells that carry messages from your brain and spinal cord into the muscle fibers, telling them to contract at the right time and with the right strength. As early as your 40s, and for many people even earlier depending on stress, sleep, and diet, these motor neurons can start to lose efficiency, especially in the legs, and when that happens, the electrical message that tells the muscle to tighten becomes weaker and less coordinated. The result is that the muscle may still be there, but it is not being fully used, so you feel weak even if you have not lost as much muscle as you think. This is one reason people say, "I do not understand, I am not that skinny, but my legs feel tired," or "I do not understand, I walk every day, but I still feel unstable." It is not only about muscle size, it is about muscle activation, nerve speed, and the quality of the signals traveling into the legs. This is also where nutrition becomes surprisingly powerful, because muscles and nerves need very specific raw materials to repair, to fire properly, and to rebuild their energy systems overnight. Think about it like this. Your legs are not only made of muscle, They are a system that includes nerves, blood flow, mitochondria, and the chemical messengers that control repair, and food is what supplies the materials for all of it. Amino acids from protein are not just for bodybuilders. They are signals that tell your body, start repairing now, start rebuilding now, protect this muscle tissue, improve recovery, and one amino acid in particular is known for switching on muscle building pathways, but it only works well when the body is ready to respond. This is why timing matters, because your circadian rhythm, your internal clock, controls how your body uses sugar, fat, and protein across the day and night. In the evening, as you prepare for sleep, your body enters a repair-focused mode, and if you provide the right nutrients at that moment, you can support deeper muscle recovery during the night when growth and repair hormones naturally rise. But if your evening meal is low in key nutrients or heavy in the wrong kind of food or eaten too late, your body may spend the night dealing with stress, inflammation, and unstable blood sugar instead of doing strong repair work. That is why people can wake up feeling stiff, heavy, and still tired even after sleeping, because the night did not fully restore them. The exciting part is that when you align your meals with your biology, the body can respond quickly, sometimes in the very next morning, because your muscles are always rebuilding and breaking down, and you can shift that balance in your favor. The food we are focusing on is simple, but the way you use it is what makes it powerful, because it supports neuromuscular repair, it supports mitochondria, and it helps your muscles respond better to signals from your nervous system. It also works best in combination, because the right pairing can improve absorption, reduce inflammation, and support steady energy through the night. Over the rest of this episode, you will learn what this food provides inside your body, how it supports mitochondrial efficiency so your legs produce energy more easily, how amino acid signaling helps protect and rebuild muscle density, why your body clock can make the same meal work better or worse depending on when you eat it, and how to apply a simple routine that you can start right away without changing your entire life. This is not a trick, and it is not a promise of instant miracles. It is science, and it is a strategy. And the best part is that it respects the reality of real life. You do not need extreme workouts or complicated supplements. To begin improving the way your legs feel, you need the right inputs at the right time so your body can do what it already knows how to do: repair, restore, and rebuild strength from the inside out. The real problem was the message that should travel from your nerves to your muscles, because the signal was getting weaker and slower, so the muscle was not truly gone. It was simply not being told to work, and that is actually hopeful, because anything that is still there but not being used can often be brought back online. Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt a strange wobble, even when nothing was different around you? Or noticed that your legs get tired faster than they used to, even though you have not changed your daily routine? The same walk, the same chores, the same stairs, yet your legs feel like they run out of power sooner. That is not always just aging. Many times it is a drop in nerve to muscle connection, a kind of communication problem inside the body where the brain still wants to move, but the message arrives late, weak, or incomplete. The good news is that this type of problem is often supported by the right nutrition, because nerves and muscles are living tissue that respond to the materials you give them. Your spinal cord plays a big role here, because it is not only a simple highway that passes movement commands down to the legs, it also needs steady nutrient support to keep those signals clear and strong, like keeping a phone line clean so the call does not break up. Think of your leg muscles like a group of skilled workers who know exactly what to do, and your nervous system like the supervisor giving instructions through a loudspeaker. If the loudspeaker battery is low, the workers do not suddenly forget their skill. They simply cannot hear the command well enough, so the job slows down or stops. But when you recharge the battery, the same crew can get back to work quickly. One of the fastest ways to recharge that system is to support the neuromuscular junction, which is the connection point where the nerve meets the muscle and tells it to contract. Because when that connection is well fed, the signal becomes sharper and the muscle responds more fully. This is where certain amino acids, B vitamins, and building blocks that help your body make acetylcholine can matter, because acetylcholine is one of the key messenger chemicals that helps your nerves talk to your muscles, and when the body has what it needs, this communication can improve within hours. Not because the body does magic, but because it finally has the raw materials to restore a process that was struggling. That is why the food we are focusing on matters so much, because it is not just about protein for bigger muscles. It is also about specific nutrients that help your nervous system keep its messaging strong. So when you eat it, you are not only feeding muscle tissue, you are helping reawaken it. This also changes the way you should think about leg weakness, because before you worry about building more muscle, it makes sense to ask a smarter question. Is my nervous system using the muscle I already have? Because in many older adults, the quality of the signal is a bigger issue than the amount of muscle. And improving signal quality can make you feel stronger even before your muscles grow bigger. Now, this is where we go deeper into one special amino acid called leucine, because leucine works like a powerful switch for muscle repair and strength, and it is one of the most important nutritional signals for turning NG on muscle building in the body. Leucine is an essential amino acid, which means your body cannot make it on its own. You must get it from food, and that alone makes it important. But what makes it truly special is how it behaves like a signal, not just a nutrient. After you eat, your body does not only count calories, it also looks for clear chemical messages that tell it what to do next. And leucine is one of the strongest messages your body listens for when it comes to repairing and rebuilding muscle. In simple terms, leucine tells your cells that building mode should turn on. Scientists often describe leucine as an anabolic trigger, which is just a fancy way of saying it helps trigger growth and repair signals inside the body. One of the main systems leucine activates is a pathway called mTOR, short for mammalian target of rapamycin. And you do not need to memorize the name, you only need to understand what it does. Because mTOR is like the control center that decides whether your body will invest energy into repairing muscle protein and building new muscle tissue. Think of mTOR as an internal light switch for muscle repair, and leucine as the finger that flips that switch upward. When leucine levels rise after a meal, it can help wake up this pathway and tell the body, now is the time to rebuild. This matters even more as we age because many people develop what researchers call anabolic resistance, which means the muscles do not respond as strongly to the same signals they used to respond to when you were younger. In younger years, a normal meal might easily trigger muscle repair, but later in life the body may need a clearer, stronger signal and better timing to get the same effect. That is why leucine becomes such a key tool, because it is one of the strongest signals we know for turning on muscle protein building, even in older adults. Research has shown that meals higher in leucine can increase mTOR activity and increase muscle protein building. And older adults may benefit from focusing on leucine-rich foods because it helps overcome some of that age-related resistance. Now, here is an important point. Leucine is not a steroid. It does not force growth in a harmful way. It simply gives your body the signal it needs to do the work it was already designed to do, repair what is worn down, replace what is broken, and maintain the tissue that keeps you moving. But leucine does not work in isolation. It works best as part of a complete protein source because the body needs the full set of amino acids to build muscle protein. Leucine is like the start button, but the other amino acids are the parts and tools needed to finish the repair job. That is why the combination and the timing of the food matter so much, because when you eat a leucine-rich protein at the right time, especially when your body is entering its overnight repair phase, you create the best conditions for mTOR to do its job. Overnight, the body naturally shifts toward recovery, tissues rebuild, inflammation can calm down when sleep is good, and your muscles can restore energy systems. And when you supply the right nutrients in the evening, you support that entire process. This is also where your legs benefit in a very direct way, because leg muscles are large, they demand a lot of energy, they rely on strong mitochondria, and they rely on strong nerve signals. So when you support amino acid signaling through leucine, you are not just chasing muscle size, you are supporting the whole system of strength, including faster repair, better response to movement commands, and better ability to produce force when you stand, walk, or climb. Over time, this is what helps you feel steadier and more confident, not only because your muscles may slowly rebuild, but because why? Our nervous system can start to trust your legs again. And when the body feels safer, you move more. And when you move more, you build even more strength, creating a positive cycle instead of the negative cycle that begins with weakness and fear. Anabolic resistance is real, but the good news is that leucine is one of the few nutrients shown to push back against it, and it can start working within hours. Have you ever eaten what you thought was a good high-protein meal, yet your legs still felt heavy, tired, or weak later on, as if the meal did nothing for your strength? If that sounds familiar, the issue may not be the amount of protein. It may be the leucine quality inside that protein and the timing of when you eat it. Many older adults accidentally eat enough protein to slow muscle breakdown, but not enough leucine to truly switch on muscle building and repair. That is why where your protein comes from and when you eat it matters more than most people realize. Here is a simple way to use this as a tool. Make your first major meal of the day center around a leucine-rich protein source, because your body responds strongly to clear signals early in the day when it is ready to rebuild and reset. Some of the best leucine-rich foods come from animal proteins like eggs, beef, chicken, turkey, fish, and one of the highest and fastest options is whey protein. The goal is not to eat huge amounts. The goal is to reach the leucine trigger point, because research suggests that around 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine can be enough to activate the mTOR pathway and start muscle repair. And many people can reach that by eating about 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein. If you want a faster and easier method, whey protein isolate is often used because it contains leucine and other essential amino acids in strong proportions that the body can use quickly. That is one reason athletes use it, and it is also why some clinicians who work with older adults pay attention to it as a practical option for supporting muscle repair. But this is not only about building new muscle, there is something else important happening, because leucine-rich protein can also support reconnection, and that reconnection is about communication. It is like restarting a conversation between your nervous system and your muscle fibers, and the sooner that conversation becomes clear again, the sooner your legs can begin to feel steadier, stronger, and more alive. Now we move to the second key piece of this puzzle, because for your muscles to respond, they need the right chemical messenger that carries the final command to move, and that messenger is acetylcholine. If these ideas are helping you understand your body in a new way, take a moment to like this video, because it helps this science reach more people who truly need simple tools for strength and independence. Every time you decide to move, to stand up, take a step, climb stairs, or rise from a chair, your brain sends a signal, but that signal does not directly touch your muscle fibers by itself. It must be translated into a chemical message at the connection point between nerve and muscle. That chemical messenger is acetylcholine, and it is one of the main drivers of neuromuscular transmission, meaning it is one of the key ways your brain's intention becomes real movement in your legs. Without enough acetylcholine, muscles do not fire with the same speed or strength. They may respond late, respond weakly, or fail to respond smoothly, and that can feel like clumsiness, poor balance, shaky legs, or that odd delay when you try to stand and your body does not feel fully ready. As we age, this issue can grow because studies suggest that acetylcholine production and the sensitivity of acetylcholine receptors can decline over time, especially in motor neurons that control movement in the legs. That is one reason small balance slips and slower reaction times become more common in the senior years, even in people who still look healthy. Now, this is where the science becomes very interesting, because acetylcholine is built from a nutrient called choline, and choline is basically a main building block your body uses to make acetylcholine. Research has highlighted that increasing choline intake can support acetylcholine production relatively quickly, sometimes within 6 to 12 hours, especially when your nervous system is demanding coordination and clean motor control. In simple terms, if leucine helps switch on muscle repair, choline helps recharge the messenger system that tells those muscles when and how to move. And when you support both, you are not only trying to grow muscle, you are trying to restore the quality of the signal so your existing muscle can finally respond the way it was meant to. What kind of food gives you this advantage? It is eggs, and to be even more specific, it is the yolk, because the yolk is one of the richest natural sources of choline, and choline is the raw material your body uses to make acetylcholine, the messenger that helps your nerves tell your muscles to move. When you eat just 2 whole eggs, you can get a strong amount of choline, and your body can use it to support acetylcholine production, which helps strengthen the pathway that controls movement, balance, and smooth muscle response, especially in the legs. This is not just a random nutrition tip. It can be used as a simple routine for people who feel shaky, unstable, or less powerful when walking, standing, or climbing stairs, or for anyone who notices their legs respond slowly, like the signal is arriving late. If that sounds like you, try this simple morning habit: eat 2 whole eggs about 30 minutes after you wake up. And if you can, pair them with a leucine-rich protein such as whey protein or cottage cheese. Because this combination supports 2 important needs at the same time, it supports the chemical messenger that helps your nerves communicate with your muscles, and it supports the muscle repair signal that helps your body rebuild strength. Morning timing matters because after sleep, your nervous system often starts the day in a lower output state, and acetylcholine activity can be lower after the night. Then it rises as the day begins and your brain demands coordination. This is exactly why the morning can be a powerful time to feed your body what it needs, because motor neurons can be more ready to accept nutritional input early in the day, when the system is waking up and rebuilding its daily rhythm. In simple words, you are giving your body the materials it needs to restore clearer command signals to your legs. Think about how different your movement can feel after a strong breakfast. Sometimes you notice you feel more confident on steps, your legs feel less shaky, your walk feels more stable, and you feel more present in your body. That does not have to be imagination, because when acetylcholine support improves, the nervous system can fire with better timing and accuracy. And when the signal becomes cleaner, the muscle can respond more fully, which can feel like your legs are finally listening again. Choline does more than help muscle movement. It also helps upgrade the communication line between your brain and your body, because acetylcholine is also used in the brain for attention, learning, and memory. So when you support acetylcholine, you are not only helping physical control, you may also support mental clarity, which is a valuable benefit for aging with strength and confidence. If you do not eat eggs or you follow a plant-based diet, do not worry, you still have options, because choline also exists in foods like quinoa, Brussels sprouts, soybeans, and other plant foods. But many people find egg yolks are one of the easiest and most effective sources, because the body tends to use them well. The bigger point is not that eggs are magical. The point is that your nervous system needs specific building blocks, and choline is one of the most important when you are trying to improve the quality of neuromuscular signals. Now let us connect this to the next major link in the chain: blood flow, because even if your signals improve and your muscles are ready to respond, your legs still need enough oxygen and nutrients delivered through the bloodstream, and they need waste removed efficiently, otherwise strength and recovery stay limited. Imagine trying to grow a garden while the hose that brings water is bent and squeezed. It will not matter how good the soil is or how much sunlight you give. The plants will still struggle because the water cannot reach them properly. And in a similar way, your muscles cannot work at their best if circulation is limited. As people get older, the arteries and tiny capillaries that feed the lower legs often become less flexible and less responsive, and that can reduce how well blood moves into the muscles when you stand, walk, or climb. When blood flow is not strong, oxygen delivery drops, nutrient delivery drops, and the body has a harder time clearing the waste products that build up during movement. And the result can feel like heavy legs, tired legs, slower legs, or legs that feel delayed, even when you believe you are eating enough protein, and even when you try to stay active. This is why circulation can quietly steal your strength, because you might be doing many things right, but the delivery system is not working as well as it should. One of the main molecules that controls how wide your blood vessels open is nitric oxide, which your body naturally produces in the lining of your blood vessels. Nitric oxide is like a message that tells the vessel walls to relax so more blood can flow through. And when this system is working well, your legs can get better oxygen and nutrients, and movement feels easier, warmer, and more steady. When this system is weaker, vessels stay more tight, blood flow is less smooth, and muscles can feel like they run out of energy sooner. This matters for your legs because the legs are far from the heart and they work hard every day, so they depend on healthy circulation to stay strong and responsive. Now, one of the foods being studied for supporting nitric oxide production is beets, because beets contain natural nitrates that the body can convert into nitric oxide, and this can help blood vessels open more, which supports circulation. Better circulation can support better walking stamina, better muscle recovery, and even a stronger feeling of stability because the muscles are being fed properly. When blood flow improves, the body can deliver amino acids for repair more efficiently, deliver oxygen for energy production, and remove waste that can make the legs feel sore, heavy, or slow. This is important because strength is not only about muscle size, it is also about fuel and delivery. And blood flow is part of that delivery. So when you bring these pieces together, leucine supports the repair signal, choline supports the communication signal, and healthy circulation supports the delivery of oxygen and nutrients, so the whole system can work as one. That is the true goal, not just adding more protein, not just doing more exercise, but rebuilding the full chain that makes your legs feel strong, stable, and reliable. The brain sends a message, the nerves carry it clearly, the muscle receives it. The blood supplies the fuel, and the cell power stations inside the muscle create the energy to move. When you support all of this, the changes can feel surprisingly fast. Sometimes as early as the next morning, you notice you stand with more confidence, you walk with less hesitation, and your legs feel more awake. The key is to keep it simple and consistent. Use foods that support your biology, match them with good timing, and give your body a chance to rebuild the systems that aging often weakens. Because your body is not only getting older, it is also adapting every day to what you give it, and when you give it the right materials, it can respond in ways that bring back strength and control. Beets are one of the most powerful natural boosters for blood flow, and what makes them so useful is that nitric oxide production depends heavily on what you eat. Beets, especially when eaten raw or taken as juice, contain natural dietary nitrates, and your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, which helps your blood vessels relax and open so more blood can reach your muscles. Research has shown that in older adults, beetroot juice can improve leg muscle power within a few hours, and what is even more important is that the improvement can be stronger in fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones that help you catch yourself, stay balanced, and react quickly so you do not fall. That is not a tiny benefit because in real movement tests like walking speed, standing up from a chair, and climbing stairs, measurable improvements can show up when circulation and oxygen delivery improve at the right time. Here is a simple way to use this as a practical routine before activity. About 90 minutes before a walk, exercise, or any physical work, eat 1 to 2 medium beets, or drink around 250 to 300 milliliters of beetroot juice, because this gives your body time to convert nitrates into nitric oxide and start widening blood vessels. If you want to take it one step further, pair this with about 20 minutes of light movement, such as a gentle walk, light cycling, or dynamic stretching, because movement itself helps the body produce and use nitric oxide, and when your system already has dietary nitrates available, that effect can become stronger, like you are opening the faucet and straightening the hose at the same time. Some people worry about the natural sugar in beets, but the overall impact on performance and circulation can be worth it for many people, especially when beets are used before activity when muscles will quickly use the fuel. If you want to reduce any possible blood sugar rise, you can pair beets with a protein source or high-fiber greens, because fiber and protein can help slow absorption and make the energy feel steadier. Now, if this information is helping you understand your strength in a clear and practical way, subscribe to BioLustra, because our goal is not to overwhelm you. It is to give you simple science-backed tools you can use in everyday life to feel stronger, sharper, and more in control of your body. Next, we need to talk about something that quietly steals leg strength from the inside, even when you cannot feel it: chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is not the same as the swelling you see after an injury. That is acute inflammation, and it is obvious. But chronic inflammation is low level, spread through the body, and it can stay active for years like a quiet background noise. Over time, this constant inflammation can reduce muscle function, especially in the legs, because it makes it harder for muscles to rebuild, harder to gain strength, and harder to maintain coordination. Research has shown that even low levels of chronic inflammation can reduce the ability of muscles to regenerate and recover. And studies have linked higher inflammatory markers, such as C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, with lower muscle mass and lower strength in older adults, even when those adults seem to be eating fine and staying active. So what is happening inside the body when this is going on? Inflammation can slow down muscle protein building, increase oxidative stress, and disrupt the mitochondria, which are the small energy engines that power your muscle contractions. When mitochondria struggle, your muscles tire faster, feel heavier, and recover slower. Inflammation can also interfere with the nervous system's ability to recruit muscle fibers effectively, which means even if the muscle still exists, the signal that activates it becomes weaker, and you feel less power and less control. This is why inflammation can create a double problem. It lowers energy production and it lowers signal strength, and together, those two effects can make your legs feel older than they truly are. And now we reach the surprising part, because there is a simple food category that can help calm this low-grade fire, not by masking symptoms, but by reducing the internal stress signals that keep inflammation turned on. And when that happens, your muscles can finally return to a better repair mode, your mitochondria can work more smoothly, and your nerve-to-muscle connection can become clearer again. One of the best tools for calming this hidden fire is not found in the supplement aisle. It is sitting in your kitchen, often right inside the produce drawer, and it is dark leafy greens. Foods like spinach, kale, arugula, chard, and mustard greens do more than give you vitamins. They act like natural calming signals inside your body because they are rich in plant compounds that help lower inflammation over time. These greens contain polyphenols, chlorophyll, magnesium, and natural Te compounds, and these nutrients support your body's ability to slow down inflammatory pathways, which means they help reduce the internal stress that quietly weakens muscle repair. One important compound often discussed in this area is quercetin, a polyphenol found in foods like kale and mustard greens, and research has linked quercetin-rich diets with lower activity of inflammatory messengers such as IL-6 and TNF-alpha. When these inflammatory messengers stay high for a long time, they can block muscle rebuilding, increase oxidative stress, and make mitochondria work less efficiently. And that is one reason the legs can feel weaker even when a person is trying to eat well and stay active. A simple routine supported by a large amount of nutrition science is this: include at least 1 cup of dark leafy greens in your first meal of the day. Morning matters because your body follows a daily rhythm, your circadian rhythm, and this rhythm affects hormones, the immune system, and how your body handles stress and repair signals. When you start the day with foods that support calm inflammation, you help set a healthier foundation for the rest of the day, like lowering the background noise so your body can focus on rebuilding instead of constantly defending. If you want to absorb more of the fat-soluble nutrients in greens, like vitamin K and beta-carotene, pair them with a healthy fat such as olive oil or avocado, because fat helps the body absorb these nutrients more effectively. You can also add lemon or a small amount of apple cider vinegar, which some people find helps digestion and may help the body use minerals and plant nutrients more easily. It is important to understand that leafy greens do not act like painkillers. They do not usually create an instant dramatic feeling in the same hour. Instead, they work like a steady internal reset, and over days and weeks you may notice less stiffness, better recovery, steadier energy, and a stronger, more stable feeling in your legs. For many people, early changes can show up within about 10 to 14 days, especially when greens are combined with daily movement and good sleep, because this is when nutrition stops being only fuel and becomes a signal that guides your immune system. It is like telling your body, we are safe. You can stop burning energy on constant inflammation. You can move back into repair mode. Now we need to talk about something most people completely ignore, and it can speed up or slow down your results even if you eat the right foods, and that is meal timing. Food choice matters, but timing can be just as powerful, especially as we get older, because every time you eat a protein-containing meal, you trigger a process called muscle protein synthesis, which is the body's natural method for repairing worn muscle and building new muscle. It is basically your body saying, now is repair time, now is growth time. The challenge is that with age, that signal becomes weaker because of anabolic resistance, meaning your muscles become less responsive to the protein you eat. So even if you eat enough protein across the full day, your body may not use it as efficiently for muscle repair. The practical solution is not always more protein, it is often smarter protein distribution, spreading your protein-rich meals more evenly throughout the day, starting with breakfast, because research has shown that balanced protein intake across breakfast, lunch, and dinner can produce higher muscle protein synthesis than eating most of your protein at night. In simple terms, when you give your muscles steady repair signals across the day instead of one big signal at the end, your body has more chances to rebuild. And this can matter a lot for preserving leg strength, because the legs are large muscle. That depend on repeated repair signals to maintain power, stability, and endurance. This is why the first meal of the day is so important in this strategy, because it sets your repair rhythm early. It supports better neuromuscular function through the day, and it helps reduce the chance that you spend the morning and afternoon underfueled, which can lead to more fatigue and weaker movement later. The bigger idea is simple. Support the signal, support the messenger, support the blood flow, calm the inflammation, and then match your meals to your body clock so the repair process has the best chance to work. Because your body does not just respond to what you eat, it responds to when you eat it. And when you align both, your legs can begin to feel stronger and more reliable again. This works because each meal becomes its own clear growth signal. So instead of giving your muscles one big message at the end of the day, you keep the message strong and steady from morning to night. That steady pattern matters because your muscles respond to signals, and older muscles often need repeated signals to stay receptive. Another helpful detail is that eating within 30 to 60 minutes after light exercise, even something as simple as walking, can increase the benefit, especially for older adults, because movement makes your muscle cells more ready to absorb nutrients. This period is often called the anabolic window, which simply means a short time when your muscles are more open to taking in amino acids to rebuild tissue. You do not need intense workouts to use this. Even gentle activity can help your body use food better. Here is a simple routine you can actually follow in real life. Step 1. Make sure your first meal has at least 30 grams of high-quality protein, because that first meal helps set your repair rhythm for the day. A practical example could be a cup of GE egg yogurt with hemp seeds and berries, or 3 eggs with sautéed spinach and lentils, keeping it simple, filling, and nutrient-rich. Step 2. After you do any light activity like a walk, a stretching session, or mild resistance movements, try to eat a meal or snack within 1 hour that includes both protein and complex carbohydrates. For example, a smoothie with protein powder and a banana, or a bowl with quinoa, beans, and olive oil. The reason carbs help here is that they raise insulin, and insulin helps move nutrients into cells more efficiently, including helping amino acids enter your muscle cells so repair can start faster. Step 3. Do not save all your protein for dinner and try to overload it at night, because research suggests your muscles can only use a certain amount of protein for building at one time, often around 30 to 40 grams per meal. And once you pass that point, the extra is more likely to be burned for energy or stored rather than used for muscle repair. So distributing protein across the day is often smarter than stacking it late. When you optimize timing and distribution like this, you are not only feeding your muscles, you are communicating with them. You are giving your body the message that strength is still required, that movement is still part of life, and that your system should stay active and responsive. And that point is bigger than most people think, because muscle is not only for movement, it also acts like a protective organ that supports metabolism, blood sugar balance, and overall energy. And when muscle becomes stronger, your whole body tends to function better. Now we are going to bring everything together in the conclusion, from nitric oxide and blood flow, to choline and nerve messaging, to leucine and muscle repair, to inflammation control, and finally to meal timing, so you have a clear summary and one simple acti. You can start right now to improve leg strength, energy, and overall health. Reaching this point already means you have done the most important first step. You now understand what is actually happening inside your body, and you can see that improving leg strength within 12 hours is not an impossible idea. It can be realistic when you work with your biology instead of fighting it. Let us quickly review what we have covered so far in a simple way. Nitric oxide helps widen blood vessels and push more blood into your legs so your muscles receive oxygen and nutrients and can remove waste. And when nitric oxide is low, muscles can feel heavy, slow, and underpowered. Beetroot is one of the strongest natural ways to support nitric oxide because it contains dietary nitrates that the body converts into nitric oxide. And this is why beetroot, whether as juice or in a concentrated form, is often used before activity to support walking stamina, leg power, and steadier balance. Especially because fast-reacting muscle fibers depend on strong circulation and oxygen delivery. As we bring everything together, remember the big idea. Nitric oxide is one of the strongest drivers of leg blood flow, and it can create real, measurable improvements in performance within hours. Because when your blood vessels open wider, your legs receive more oxygen, more nutrients, and they clear waste faster, which means your muscles can contract with more power and recover with less struggle. The inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, is a key part of this system. And when it is supported by foods rich in nitrates, polyphenols, and antioxidants, it can begin to function more smoothly, almost like it is being restarted. This matters even more for fast-twitch muscle fibers in the legs, because those fibers are the first to fade with age, yet they are also surprisingly quick to respond. When blood flow improves, and when the nervous system receives the right nutrition. And this is where the full picture becomes clear, because the food you eat is not only feeding your stomach, it is shaping the way your brain, nerves, and muscles communicate. Your gut and your muscles are connected more deeply than most people think, and the microbes in your gut can influence inflammation, circulation, and even how well your muscles use nutrients. Beetroot is a strong example of this, because it does not only provide nitrates for nitric oxide, it can also support healthier gut bacteria, and that can make your body more responsive to the same foods and routines over time. Then we add the third key piece, meal timing, because even if you eat the right foods, timing them well, especially around light movement, helps you avoid anabolic resistance and keeps your muscle repair system active throughout the day. When you spread protein across your meals instead of saving it all for dinner, you give your muscles repeated chances to rebuild. And that repeated signal is exactly what older muscles need to stay switched on. The one thing that stays true in all of this is simple. Your body is built to adapt, and it wants to repair itself. The only challenge is giving it the right inputs at the right time and in the right amount. So here is your next step, simple, clear, and highly effective. Starting tomorrow morning, begin your day with a smoothie that includes beetroot, either a small piece of beet juice, or beet powder if that is what you have, and add a protein source like Greek yogurt, or if you prefer plant-based, a vegan yogurt, or another high-protein substitute. Drink it, then go for a 15-minute walk soon after. Nothing intense, just steady movement, because now your blood vessels are primed, nitric oxide release is triggered, and the nerve-to-muscle system start waking up. Then within 30 to 60 minutes, eat a high-protein breakfast, because now your muscles are ready to absorb amino acids and begin repair. The science is clear that even small actions, one nutrient, one short walk, one well-timed meal, can create fast, measurable changes in how your body performs and how you feel, especially in your legs, because your legs are not only your support for movement, they are also a mirror of your metabolic health, your circulation, and your overall vitality. And this is not only about leg strength, it is about momentum, because once you start improving the system, you often notice a quiet but powerful change. Your legs feel stronger, yes, but you also feel more capable, more energized, more steady, and more like yourself again. And that feeling changes how you move through the day. Now, I want you to try this routine and pay attention to what happens over the next few mornings. Not just in your legs, but in your balance, your confidence, and your energy. And here is the twist that most seniors never expect. Many people think weak legs are only a leg problem, but very often, weak legs are your early warning signal, your body's first quiet message that blood flow, inflammation, and nerve signaling are starting to slow down. And if you ignore that message, the next stage is not only slower walking, it can become more falls, more fear of movement, and less independence without you even realizing when it started. But if you catch it now, with simple food timing and the right daily habits, you can reverse that direction and you can protect more than your legs, you can protect your freedom. If this video helped you see your body in a new way, subscribe to BioLustra and share this with other seniors and with your family and friends, because someone you love might be living with weak legs and thinking it is just age, when it could be a fixable signal. Leave a comment too and tell me one thing you want to improve most: balance, stairs, walking speed, or getting up from a chair. Because in the next video, I am going to reveal the one common nighttime habit that silently blocks leg recovery in seniors, even if they eat healthy. And once you hear it, you will never look at your evening routine the same way again.